Hey friends, welcome to Aleko Creates. This is Amanda. We're doing a layout for 3 prompts, 3 pages, 3 prompts by Ginger. I'm kind of doing a tutorial of a starburst layout or a type of starburst layout. Okay, so I've got started with a border of 8 by 11.5. Okay, and I haven't fast forwarded this yet because I want you to see how I do it. So these are my photos of my stepson and my partner before he was my partner. This is when he was still with their mum. So this is going in Jet's album. Okay, so you're going to need a pencil and a ruler because we want to make these lines straight. So I've flipped the page over to what I'm going to have it as the polka dot page. Okay. And I'm going to go around the edge of so I've marked where I want my point to be, so where my starbursts when I come out, and that can be anywhere in the page. Now I'm going around the edge of my paper, and at every inch, I'm marking it a quarter wide. Okay, so I'm doing at every whole number and 3 3/3 to the next number and a quarter, if that makes sense. So like 3/4 of an inch, 1 1/4 of an inch, then 1 3/4 of an inch, 2 1/4 of an inch. Okay. You don't have to do it by every inch. You can do it every 2 inches and just make a quarter gap. However, it depends what you want to do. The only thing you have to be mindful of is if you want them perfectly and even, you need to do some math about dividing your perimeter into even numbers. Does that make sense? Yeah, that's the only thing you need to be mindful of. So I just stuck by one inch all the time. I actually don't care if my starbursts aren't even either. It doesn't bother me whatsoever, but it could bother others. All right, so you will see me cut out bits because it's very repetitive, this. All right, so here's my point. Okay, so this is where I'm going to put some photos on the other side and have that like where it all meets. Now you don't have to cut it right to the edge, and you'll see that in a minute. But what you're going to do is from that point, you're going to draw lines from every mark you've made. Okay, so I go around, this takes forever. Okay, I go around and do all of that. Yay, finally. Anyway, now you're going to need a really good pair of scissors. Okay, you probably could have used a knife if you're confident with it, like a craft knife. And see those little bits? We're going to cut them out. Okay, so okay, so I'm going because I'm concentrating. We're going to cut on the lines, cut them out. Now you can cut them all, or you could do one and then just chop it in, but don't go all the way to the circle because you want it in one piece of paper. Okay, I don't want to be cutting them all and then them all coming apart, because then you have to sit there and measure it all out and that. So that's what I don't want to do. All right, so I go around and I cut all of these. And every 5 or so I stop and chop off like the waste, that negative space, because otherwise I'd be chopping off the bit. If I did the whole thing, I'd chop off the ones I want to keep. So I'll skip the rest of that because I'm concentrating and doing it off camera. Look how cool that looks. I love it. Look, I can't take credit for this either. I forgot to mention I did watch a YouTube video by, I want to say Alison Davis, who goes through all the different ways. And I thought you guys could maybe learn something if I did it, if you did. This is a really long video. Anyway, so I would suggest to use glue when doing this purely because you can move it a bit better than tape, okay? So I'm just gluing every ray. I'm going to call them rays, literally. No, it doesn't matter what size you do it. You could do this in a section of your layout or on a card, whatever, okay? But I do think it's quite effective, and I actually, in the end, I love the layout. Like, love it. I probably didn't even stick it on evenly, to be honest. I stuck it on and then it wouldn't move and I didn't want to rip it. So it was a bit tricky to get on. I think I just kind of lay it, slap it down. And then, yeah, I get it to this point where it's a little bit hard to move. So I was like, oh, whatever, doesn't matter. Yeah. You could back it on like anything. You could do some faux stitching in some of the rays. You could do any of that. I didn't do any of that because I didn't want to overdo it. I didn't want to take away from the whole sunburst effect either. Okay, so I've just stuck my photos in the bulk of the paper, like, you know, where my rays didn't meet. And now we're just going to use a little bit of bits and pieces to embellish. So I was deciding whether I use a quote or a journaling, and then I decided a journaling book, so I thought my partner can journal in that for him. So I went off screen and cut out these scrapper set sketch printables because they're all pool themed, and I thought, oh, cute. So I'm just going to stick them down flat. I don't, again, over embellish because I don't want to take away from all that hard work I just did. And it did take me a decently long time. But I I really love it. Anyway, so 3 pages, 3 prompts. We didn't go through what I needed. I needed yellow paper, tick. I needed a summer page, tick. And I need brads. So I've got these, I think they're called pin split brads. I don't even know where they come from, really. They've been around for ages. So they're all in a container, so I'm going through all the containers to get them out before I pierce my paper. So I have to pierce it and make a decent hole to put the split pin thing in. And it is very fiddly. Alright, so the brads are on. I quickly write the date before I lose it. So I did go off screen and do my title on my Cricut. So it says every summer has a story. And I've heard lots of stories about Jet so this is Dale's parents' pool. And I added that little sun at the top just to make it an extra bit summery, and a few blue splatters. I love this page, I really do. But anyway, go check out all the other players for 3 pages, 3 prompts, hosted by Ginger. And don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye.